Hey gamers, it's G from the corner, and it is that time again. That's right. The summer's winding down. It's starting to get a little chillier, just a little bit. And we're on the cusp of a Nintendo Direct. I mean, I believe this is an absolute certainty. We've had a September Nintendo Direct every year for the past 8 years. So it seems like a done deal. We will have some sort of presentation from Nintendo, but what form it'll take was always up in the air for me. You know, I feel like I've been saying this for the past like 3 or 4 Directs now, but this could be the last Switch era Direct. We could be into the Switch 2 marketing cycle now. Obviously now Nintendo has that ticking time bomb of the console is being announced in the next 6 months, but that still means it could be as late as next March, and they could still do a Direct now and even in September as they traditionally do. However, there's been further wrenches thrown in. Credible leaker Brazil is saying that Nintendo moved up a few presentations or switched things around. You see, there was an Indie World Direct planned for this month, which also makes sense. They usually tend to do them in August. And, you know, there was a Direct planned for September, but Nintendo decided to swap around the two, get the Direct out of the way now, potentially for whatever reason. If I had to guess, maybe I was right on the money in that video a few weeks ago. You know, Nintendo didn't meet their sales expectations this quarter, so hey, let's do the Direct now and let's get that Switch 2 reveal out a bit later. I don't think there will be any Switch 2 at whatever the next Nintendo Direct is, for the record. It doesn't make any sense to me just to have that be a separate thing, because you want to still sell Switch 1s, and the September Direct would exist solely to remind people of the Switch 1, giving it that holiday push that these September Directs tend to do. Now, here's the thing about Brazil. He's an interesting fellow. I don't think this guy is some lying piece of crap like some other leakers I've seen in my day. I follow Family Boards a ton. This is where a lot of this is coming from. I've been using the website regularly for like 3 years, and a lot of my findings that I've had in these videos have been, you know, found off of that website, whether Mario Kart stuff or Direct stuff. Like, I am pretty glued into that website. I've heard some people who don't follow the conversation there kind of cherry pick some information to talk about and some information to not talk about. Like, I heard this exact story talked about in a podcast the other day, and they were branding it as if Brazil is saying there is a September Direct because there always is, which is literally just not what's happening here. Okay, look. Again, this guy, what has he done right? What has he said properly? Apparently, his big thing is that he was the first person to report the Switch 2 getting pushed out of 2024 into 2025, and everybody else followed suit. Now, granted, it's not as if Nintendo ever said it was coming out in 2024, but a lot of people assumed it was, including people within the industry. They had reason to believe, and after this guy said it, I think so. I'm assuming some people went to verify with him that what he was saying was true, and then everybody else just said, yeah, we corroborate this, it's true, it's legit. I don't think a lot of people mentioned him by name, but he kind of started the chain of dominoes. He said it first, so okay, he's legit. But it's not like he's 100% legit. He was dead certain on a February Direct. I believe he was either dead certain on like the second or first week. I don't know. He was either with me or he was with like the other guys, but neither of them were correct. It was the 21st, whatever. Maybe it was Microsoft's fault. I have no idea. So then beyond that, he says there will be an Indie World in March and a General Direct in April. Neither of those things even came close to happening. We got the Indie World in April and a General Direct in June, which I always expected. Again, him just jumping the gun and being like, oh, hey, they're going to do this now. They delayed the February Direct, so there's going to be an April Direct. Like, I thought it was a bit dumb. He even admitted he didn't 100% believe that. So I don't know why he put his foot out, because that makes these claims look a lot more dubious. Even the Museum Direct, you know, I assumed he didn't specify General Direct. Whatever you're reading on Twitter about him guaranteeing a General Direct this month, that's a load of tart. Okay, like, he said that there would be presentations that were moved up, and when the Museum Direct happened, people were like, okay, was this one of them? And he said, no, it's something a lot bigger. So, okay, obviously that sounds like a General Direct, could be a mini, could be a partner. Again, I don't think a lot of these people know what kind of Directs we're in for. They just know game announcements are happening on this date, and it sounds like a Direct is happening on this date. It could be a partner showcase, it could be a General. What do I think? I don't know, honestly. The only reason I would imagine Nintendo moving out of that pre-TGS slot would be if they had something big coming up and they wanted more space between that and whatever their September Direct is, whatever form it takes. You know, the Switch 2 reveal could be as soon as in a month or two from now. And honestly, I'm starting to think it might be. I was a firm believer that November was the earliest we would hear about it, after all of their holiday lineup has been released. But according to several manufacturing chains, there are parts being ordered by Nintendo by the truckload starting in October that clearly point to, hey, these are parts for the Switch 2. These aren't Switch parts or anything. So if the system's in manufacturing, they want to announce it because then the system will get leaked, or you're not going to be able to monitor every single factory that you're working with. Okay, people will take pictures, people will upload stuff. It's going to happen. So they want to get ahead of the leaks, and I think they did a similar thing with the Switch. I mean, it's weird because that kind of points to another thing that everybody's been saying, that, the Switch 2 isn't coming out in the fiscal anymore, kind of seeming a little bit rockier because it's like, okay, why are you starting manufacturing now if it's not coming out in March? But maybe that just means they just meant it's coming out April, May. I don't know what's happening, honestly. Usually it's pretty cut and dry what they're going to do, but right now the conversation just seems to be a bunch of stuff that could happen but maybe won't happen. I don't know. It's the pessimist in me. Again, an August General Direct sounds so weird, especially after Nintendo had they didn't do a February General. Now you're telling me they're going to do a June General, and they're going to do the September Direct early in the last week of August. That doesn't sound right to me, at all. I don't know. September to June Directs, they always seem like a pretty short gap because, you're going from the 5-month gap of the September to February to the 4-month gap of the February to June to the 3-month, sometimes even less. I think the shortest it's ever felt was I want to say June 2019 to September 2019. I feel like that was instantaneous. What? What do you mean it's already a September Direct? And in my opinion, both Directs had nothing of note to announce. So I think Nintendo has definitely learned their lesson from that. Granted, this could just be a partner showcase. Brazil could even somehow be referring to a Switch 2 reveal event that is a General Direct. That would be very weird. Again, I don't expect to see a Switch 2 thing if there is a September General Direct. At the absolute most, I could see them announcing a launch title, a big 3D Mario, just as a one more thing in the Direct. But I don't see the grand reveal happening in a Nintendo Direct because, again, I think the main purpose of whatever the September Direct would be to kind of bolster the holiday lineup, maybe talk a bit about early 2025 stuff. If there's 1 or 2 more games for the Switch 1 that need to get announced, announce them there, obviously. But I'm not so sure. The timeline is very weird. Nintendo has a big release every month up until November, but it's early November. I would assume that either something fits into later in the month, which I highly doubt at this point. I mean, maybe they'll announce a casual game next week, but again, I still highly doubt. Or there's a Switch 2 reveal and they want to have a nice sizable gap before we enter the holiday shopping spree. And, Nintendo has to kind of try and act like the Switch 2 doesn't exist for the month or so. They want to still sell Switches. It's really weird. It's a weird, hard time, Back in the early 2010s, 2000s, we would have gotten a console reveal by now. We would have had it shown off at E3 in the summer, and it would be not out until next year, regardless of that. They would have shown it off already. But, They want to hold this to their chest, man. I don't know. If the Switch 2 is out in May, why would you reveal it before the holidays? You have a good 5-month period. If you just announce it the week after Donkey Kong, maybe don't even do a big presentation until March, I feel that sounds about right to me, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the reveal's coming sooner than we think. Again, what do I think? Let's be real, okay? Let's end this with my personal takes. What do I think the September, fall, August Direct looks like? I have no idea. I think I'm going to sit down and just say it's on my birthday this year because I think that's what it lines up to be. I think it's a Wednesday year or something. And I think, the 12th of September, I'm going to say I'm getting a birthday Direct. They've come really close a lot of times in the Switch era. There's been 3 September 13th Directs. There was one on the 14th last year. I think this year it's going to be on the 12th. And I'm going to be oh wow, what do they got for me? Probably nothing, or maybe this will be the one with Pushmo. I don't know, honestly. I feel I'm kind of going into this one with higher expectations than the June Direct, because the June Direct I thought was going to be a desperation move, but they clearly had more cooking than I thought. And in my mind, I can see a world where the Switch 2 now doesn't come out until next holiday, because they could easily have Metroid, Pokemon, and some other unannounced game fill in the gaps. But I don't really know. we'll wait and see. I think that right now I'm just setting my expectations to September General Direct, and I still think the reveal is coming in November. I still think it's that. Everybody's saying it's like, oh, so likely to be October, but they have literally no basis in saying that. They're just saying that because that's when the Switch was revealed. And if you're not even expecting it to come out at the same time, why would they announce it at the same time? I think it's going to be November, shortly after the release of Brothership. I think it comes out in May. I'm going to be on, or not, I don't know. If it comes out in March, I feel like you have to do it in November. But like, if not, I'd say save it for January, honestly. I don't know. Again, it's manufacturing. It's manufacturing. That's why I think November. I think release in May. That's my thoughts right now. General Direct in September, maybe, or it could even just be a partner showcase that they say Pokemon is in, because we haven't seen that yet, and I feel like we got to see that. That might be a March game, honestly, if they are ready to show it off now because of some figure thing. I saw there was a Pokemon Mega Evolution statue, and it's like they don't release merch of things that are related to games before the games come out, and Megas have not gotten merch since Megas were relevant. This is a whole nother tangent, but basically I think Legends EA gets shown off soon. I think General Direct or partner showcase with Pokemon in September. I think reveal of the console in November, and I think it comes out in May. That's my current standings. Brazil is saying what he's saying, but he literally only has 1 week to be right, man. I don't want to hear his stuff anymore. Like, I'm sorry, but like, dude, you can't go around being like there's directs happening in odd months and then they don't happen and then be like, that's that. I don't know. This has gone on a little too long. I'll see you guys on the next one. Keep yourselves cornered for more. Bye-bye.